Hey everybody on the Pro Forum. So let me give y'all some insight, some heads up, some information. So you guys, y'all keep asking me in various threads about the process of the Photoshop process with real estate, doing the images and what do I do in Photoshop? Okay, here's the delay. Okay. Right when I thought I had this whole thing perfected, I mean, a whole new wrench gets thrown into the mix, and I start discovering problems with my system. The first thing I want to make note of is that I thought for sure I could do this process with any camera. You know, my camera scenario is this: I have a 1DX, I have a Canon 1DX, a Canon 1DS Mark III, I have a Canon 1D Mark III, and I have a 5D Mark II. So I thought to myself, well, you know, no big deal. You know, I use the 1DX. It's the best one. You know, I know Canon's coming out with a new one, or has come out with a new one, and I just can't justify the $8,000. You know, I just can't. It's just like at some point you got to start using the equipment you got. But I really and truly thought when I switched from the 1DS Mark III to the 1DX, I don't recall seeing any difference. However, I wasn't doing real estate photography at the time. I was just doing mostly, you know, senior portraits, family portraits, children, you know, a few weddings, that kind of stuff. Okay, no commercial, none. So now fast forward to present, I'm using the 1DX, I'm doing these commercial shoots, I'm getting all of this crazy high dynamic range without doing high dynamic range. And I'm thinking, well, you know, it's just because of my crazy Photoshop skills, right? Because I'm such a genius at Photoshop. Well, it ain't, okay? My 1DX last week broke, okay? I go to do a job, I put the flash, the regular speed light flash, on the hot shoe. It don't fire. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, it's no big deal. I mean, it's a very minor part. I was using it outside. It's a very minor part of what I do. I don't have to have the speed light. I can use reflectors, and I can do other things. So I finished the job without doing the speed light. Well, then I started trying to figure out, where's the problem? Is the problem with the speed light? Is the problem with the camera? The bottom line is I figure out that the problem is with the camera. So I instantly, because that's just my way, I instantly send the camera off for repair. So now the camera's off for repair, and don't you know, a bunch of real estate jobs come in. No problem, I think. I grabbed the 1DS full frame Mark III camera, which was the premier camera before the 1DX came out, and I proceed to do them exactly the same way as I do, you know, as I did the images with the 1DX. Oh my, there's a major difference. I'm not getting the high dynamic range that I was getting before. I'm not able to stretch the whites as far as I could stretch the whites before. The blacks instantly go muddy. They instantly go grainy, even though I'm shooting at ISO 100. I'm getting all kinds of crazy radical looking stuff. Now, the good news is, the properties that I photographed were not multi-million-dollar properties. They were not like it was some, you know, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 house. These were cheap houses, okay? So the realtors saw no difference. However, I know there's a massive amount of difference. Not to mention, now, I thought I was doing some crazy Photoshop stuff before, but now I'm having to do all kinds of crazy retouching, multi-processing techniques. I'm having to do all kinds of stuff to get the same effect that I was getting before. Thus, my time factor shot through the roof. My Photoshop time factor, making the whopping $84 I'm charging for these houses, not worth it anymore, okay? This comes to me like a stinking revelation, okay? That the bulk of the people I know that I bump into, and I'll say, hey, what camera you got? They'll say 5D, or they'll say 7D, or that kind of stuff. Rarely do I bump into somebody who says, oh, I have the 1DX. So if you've made it this far in the video and you have a 1DX, Canon 1DX, respond to this and tell me that you have it, because I want to go private message with you and do some experimentation and ask a few questions. If you do not have a 1DX and you are trying to do real estate photography and you're looking at what I'm doing and you know trying all kinds of crazy things in Photoshop, it's probably not going to work. Who in their right mind would have thought that, I mean, this makes such a difference? Not me. I mean, no way would I have thought it made that much of a difference. So, thus the reason, in the middle of all of this revelation process, in the middle of all this problems, broken camera, sending the camera off, doing images not looking the same, I'm getting all these messages on the Pro Forum saying, hey Kirk, what's your Photoshop process? And I'm like, now is not the time to ask me that question. Now is not the time for me to start preparing and showing you what I do in Photoshop so that you can just go off and do it. You can do it yourself, because it's entirely possible that what I'm doing in Photoshop, unless you have a 1DX, is not going to work. Now, that, I'm telling you right now, if you've made it this far in this video, if I was on your end, I would be calling lie. I'd be saying, this guy's hiding something. Something ain't right with this. What is the deal? But I'm telling you, this is the fact. There is a huge difference between the 5D Mark II, the Canon 1DS Mark III, and the 1DX. Huge difference in the way those images process inside Photoshop. So there's my problem. There's the delay. Forgive me. Once I hash out all these problems, I'll see what I can do. But I just wanted to give you guys a little explanation. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.